Time watchers, welcome to another episode of Tim Time Projects. I'm Tim and this is Chainsaw. I don't know if you ever watched the last ones or if you even care, but a while back I was using this and I had problems with it and I had to replace all kind of stuff on it. And then when I was done, I had a hard time getting it started, but it ran. And then it eventually just became harder and harder to get started, and the spark output was just about nothing. Problem was I couldn't find a coil anywhere for this, or ignition module and coil. Couldn't find one anywhere for this because it's obsolete. This is probably an early 1990s vintage McCulloch Cat 2.3 cc, or yeah, 2.3 CI, and it's 38 cc's. I really like it. It always ran great. I love the thing, but it just became, I couldn't get parts for it. That's why I got that Husqvarna. Anyhow, I did find somebody that had some parts for this that were allegedly new old stock, and I don't even know if they're going to work, because with this it had two different flywheel and ignition options, and the ones that he had were the other ones, and it looks like I can just replace the flywheel with the new module. I don't know if anything else needs to be done. So anyhow, I'm going to take it apart and we'll see what happens. So wish me luck. So I'm going to flip this around so the camera will move to see. I don't know what the video quality will be on this. I think every time I shoot a video, my friend Chris tells me it's too dark, and I tell him to turn up his brightness, and I think he thinks I mean him himself. But we'll see what happens. A little bit windy and it's getting cold here. It was probably in the upper 30s last night. And I hear things moving. I don't know if that's just the wind blowing stuff outside or if I have a critter living in here. So we'll take this apart. There's two screws here. I got to get the rest of this stuff off here as well. So I did join the 20th century. And I've got some electric tools. Oops. Probably get the right size socket for that. Let me go get that. That's probably an 8mm. Oh yeah. Get this little guy here and throw some parts in it. Just loosen that one up so it swings. It's here out of my way. I'll put it back where it was. Yeah. I don't really remember. It's been a while. Now I'll have to take this housing off. This is where the choke and also holds on the carburetor. Come out of there. Yeah, it's kind of funny. I think I end up having to take off way more than I think I should have to when I'm doing this. And one of my friends stopped over, lives up the road here, and he's also a ham radio operator. I lent him some coax because he was trying something on an antenna that he just left. That was a noise you might have heard in the driveway. trying to do this without putting my head in front of the camera. Take these screws the rest of the way out. That's a long screw. Probably holding the other side of the chainsaw on. Jeez. I don't remember that being that long. It's probably just because it was sitting there a little bit crooked, it was probably just hitting the something inside there and making the threads appear to be that long. Come on. Usually this little knob for the throttle latch gets stuck under it there between that and the screws here for the high and low adjustment. I don't want to go and change them yet. Alright, sorry, you have to look at my head for a minute because I think I gotta get in here too. There we go. I meant to throw that on the ground. You know where it is? Yeah, that little piece there goes underneath the throttle to latch it. Alright. So, got this guy out of my way here. As you can see, here's the flywheel inside here. So this all has to come out. So because that has to come out, this got to come off. So the other side will have to come off. And generator test. Generator just turned on. Okay. Let's see. Let's take the rest of these screws out. Size they are. That one goes on the top. This one here goes on the bottom. The idea is I'll pull the throttle or the fuel lines off the carburetor. There's one down here on the bottom. Come on, fuel line. All right, the one on the top here goes right through. It's actually the return line, so it pulled through off already. So I'm going to leave it off, and then there should be just this one area that the cable goes through, and if I twist it just right, I think I can get the cable out. There we go. So we get the carburetor off. Alright, push this fuel line through, because I don't believe the fuel tank comes out with us. I'm not sure. Need to look down in there, because if I can get that off without having to take the other side, manipulate that fuel hose, it make matters easier for me. Let's see. Pull out the fuel filter, maybe that'll make life easier. And by now I probably could have had the whole other side of the chainsaw out. So while I have it, take a look at this fuel line. Yeah, it's sucker's brittle already. So that's going to get replaced anywho. Here we go. See, I didn't have to take the fuel line off anyhow. Alright, actually, I don't even have to take that off. But you can feed this line through. It will probably fall off now that I say I'm not going to take it off. But that's it right there. So here is the flywheel and the coil in question. And find a way to hold it up here. Here's the old flywheel, and apparently this is the new one that you have to use. You have to change it out. Not really sure what the difference is, but apparently there's a difference. So, there's that. Let's take a look at, make sure you're looking at Y, and this wire will have to come off. Those two bolts, this guy here, let's see what size that is. Maybe 13 millimeter, I don't know, let's find out. And somebody had said to me once, well, why don't you just bring all your sockets over here so you don't have to walk back and forth? Well, when I was a mechanic, I got tired of the sockets always falling around, so I made a little wooden bracket inside my, a little wooden plate inside my toolbox, and now it's attached in there, so everything's pretty much stuck in there. So there's no way to bring like the whole set of sockets out. So here's the this is the 1/4 inch using the M12 fuel, and here's the 3/8. Let's see if there we go. I've turned it off. Found a washer there, as they say. That did it. Nice, because it wasn't even that hard. Let's see. Woodruff key seems to still be there. So now there's some instructions. A clutch spacer. I don't remember even seeing that on the other one. Alright, let's look at these. Yeah, I think I remembered somewhere that the one would have the F on it. Right there, and that was the one with the white. Well, there's an up arrow. Oops. Get off here. So here's the Woodruff key. Make sure it fits right over that. Right. There's that. Now they show the flywheel nut, and they gave me all this in the parts kit. Where is it? Here it is here. Flywheel nut. What the heck? That ain't right. That's the wrong size flywheel nut. String trimmers and bushless, so this isn't necessary. Replace, it says for string trimmers and bush cutters. With clutch drive. Well, mine doesn't have a clutch drive. Well, it does, but it's on the other side. Yeah, so this isn't needed for that, which kind of gives me a more positive outlook, thinking that must mean that maybe that part might be available for other stuff under a different part number. So if I ever have failure again, if this works and I ever have failure again, that I'll be able to find the parts. So let me get this coil off here. See, these I can bring over because they're not nailed to a piece of wood inside my toolbox. So here I'm taking the coil off. It's held on with, when I say coil, I mean the ignition module and coil. It's held on with 2 Allen head screws. And if I remember correctly, there's something underneath this, maybe a shim or a spacer or something, I don't remember. But this one, oddly enough, has a ground wire that comes from the module and goes under one of the screws. Let's see what happens here. Get that screw off. Get this one off. Both of those seem to be the same length. Yeah, there's a plastic spacer under here. It goes like that. It goes over to the spark plug, so let me take that off. Like so. I'll clean up under here. I did clean it all off, but of course it doesn't get clean where underneath the bolt heads. Alright, and then here's my new coil. Alright. So I guess before I get too carried away, I'm going to have to make the coil wire for that. This bad guy out of here. Alrighty. Come here, you. You and you. Like so. Put this over here with that so I know what it is. Because 10 minutes I'll totally forget what I was doing. So as you can see inside there, where are you? There's like a little doohickey, and inside here there's the copper wire. So the idea is it's going to go on there and spin on. Let me just see what their instructions say to make sure I don't. Alright. Both ignition and flywheel in this kit must be installed together whenever replacing either component. The high tension lead furnished with the kit must be cut to the proper length and fit to the product for which ignition is being installed. When installing the lead into the ignition module, use RTV 732C01 or equivalent. I'm going to twist that on. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. Twist this on so it gets in there good and tight. And then we'll let that RTV sit up. There we go. All right. I'll give it about an hour for that RTV set up because it's a little bit cold. Maybe I'll take it into the house where it's a little bit warmer. And then we can resume our assembly. I don't want to start messing with it now because I'll end up getting RTV on everything. All right, so now I'm back and everything's just as I left it. A little more than an hour. You know, as you walk away and find 10,000 other things to do. So, let's see. Put this over here with that. Make some room here so we can start our operation again. That RTV's pretty dry. Not a very warm day today. All right. This goes on here. This guy goes here. Like so, we decided. That the long end goes there. So I need these two little guys here. Do 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 do. Come on. No, where did you go? Probably be helpful. This is a very rigid spark plug wire. Okay. It appears to be solid copper, not any type of graphite or other conductive. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Let's see. You have to come down here like so. It'll probably be a pain in the butt getting this on the first time. I mean, I could take the other side off and put it on, but I believe I have it on. All right. Yeah, we have plenty of room in there too. I don't know if you can see in there. Oh, there we go. Lift it up there. You can see how far away it is from the engine. Okay. That seems to be on. We have to decide how we want this to go. That'll probably be fine like that, and we'll run it in between the two bolts. I don't know if you can see that or not. So now, before I get too crazy with tightening this down, we have to set the gap, and I forget what it was. I think it was like 11 thousandths or something like that. And I know that I have, and I've seen other people use business cards, and I brought one out, a business card. So I'll move it away from there, slide that in. I'm actually going to rotate it to where the magnet is, because even though it shouldn't, I don't know if the magnet might stick out a little bit more. So I want to make sure that's where I'm gapping it at. Alright, so there we go. Here's a business card, kind of tight. Let me see. All right, well, doesn't hit anything. Let me tighten them. Double tighten them down, and then I'll make sure the card still fits. Still seems to fit. So let me see, if I was to pull on this, if this was the pulling doohickey and I pulled it, it would pull it this way. So let's just make sure we'll rotate it all the way through, all the way around, to make sure that it doesn't hit on anything. It's got a lot of compression, I can tell you that. All right, well, it's going through quite smoothly, so that's good. All right, so we have everything done. That's tight, that's tight. The wire's on. Double checking that I got that on as far as it goes. That guy's on, and he's probably tucked out of the way. So that leaves me with the side cover. Oh, I'm looking for it, like, where did I put it? I thought it was going to be yellow. I'm out of my mind. Okay. So, let's see. We got to work this back in. The throttle latch cable never pulled out. I said sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. I imagine that, you know what? That might be where we run into a little snag with this, is routing the plug wire the way it has to route. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that without taking the other side cover off. Well, it seems like it's going right in. Alright. Now we got to come back up here. Remember, we have, probably can't look down in there, but we have to line the this piece up with the intake. And make sure that we're not smushing the wire. Probably gonna end up taking the other side off just to confirm that wire is not getting smashed into the head. There's a groove around the gas tank that it sits in. And I would hope that it would fit nicely into that groove, but I can't really count on it. So at least if I get this side off, I can confirm. I can either confirm or deny. 2319. Okay. Those off. Move those out of the way over there. Ooh, yuck. All right. I probably don't even need to take the chain and the bar off. All right, so here's the plug wire. There. This one's not real hard. Sometimes what I do is I actually cut a little groove so that I can get some of it through, and I reach in with pliers and pull it the rest of the way through. This one, this hose was so compliant, or not compliant, so pliable that I was able to slide in. I mean, it's not easy, but you can get it in there. All right, that's the only thing that seals it, the tank. So the next thing we have to do is I fear I'm going to have to change my battery. We'll see what happens. Let's see. Well, not my battery. So this goes in like so. The fuel line connects down there. Up top is my return, and I believe that, yeah, there it goes. It's right there. Put the carburetor back on, so I got this piece here that's the return, and I was able to get that on there, so it's sticking out here. Here's the new fuel line. So the carburetor should go on like so. Remember, the adjustment screws are sticking up. Here's the return, here's the fuel that goes to the pump. Oh. The first thing I'll do is put this cable back in here for the throttle. Now I'll get the fuel line on. Well, that's my goal, is to get the fuel line on. A little bit more. Alright. Looks like the fuel line's on. Now the next big thing is to get this guy on here. Come on. You can do it. Okay. I believe that's on. So now I gotta push the fuel line in so that it straightens up the carburetor. So now the three things that you really want to watch out for on these: you got to get your throttle, make sure that you have your linkage correct so that it pulls the throttle open. So you want to make sure you get that, and then the two fuel lines. And then remember, I told you back there that the O-ring, that's actually kind of the intake manifold. Got to make sure that you get that working right. So what I usually do here, I've run into this before on this. I usually make sure I get everything lined up right by starting one of these two carburetor bolts in here. There's one. There's two. Okay, they seem to be lined up, and that's pulling the throttle on. Yay! Okay, so we now got everything there lined up. Now the idea is we want to hope it stays lined up while we put everything else on. Yep, it was. The shorter one was on the bottom. Let's get that started. A couple of threads. Yeah, I could have got a smaller screwdriver. All right, now let's just drive those guys in. Alongside what. Pretty much everything's 8 and 10 millimeter on this. I don't crank anything too tight, just Just enough. All right. So now, this guy gotta go. What I usually find out is, don't worry too much about trying to get that throttle latch lined up. It usually finds its way to work. Maybe I'm finding out that I shouldn't have put this cover on first. All right, there's that worked. Yep, and that fell right into place. Like I said, it's weird that you wouldn't think it would. You think it would fight you the whole time. All right, so now let's get this bad boy and see if I can remember the sequence to putting all this crap on. All right. Well, it doesn't fit that way, but it fits that way. And this was at the bottom, so I think if you're concerned when you do this, by all means feel free to mark these. I've had this apart so many times in the past, and I usually end up being able to figure it out. So the little door goes in here. All right. And we'll put the little door there, like that. Let's see, does it work right? It seems to. All right. The flat-headed guy goes there. Alrighty. Tighten that one down. Tighten that one down. There, that's still working good. Sometimes the spacer doesn't align correctly, and then you can't move this, but this still seems to be working fine. It'll get tighter because it's acting like a spring. All right, chokes up. Put the carburetor cover back on, the air cleaner rather. That down, drip that down. That's already there. Come back up. Here's that. Let me get the fuel line up out of here. Get my fingers a little bit cleaner. Now, probably all the gasoline has evaporated from here, and it's just oil. There's a little bit in there. So I'll shoot a little bit of gas and a little bit of oil in it, just enough to see if it's going to start. Ouch. There we go. Filter's on, stick that down toward the bottom of the tank. Maybe on the other side. Get a match so I can look in there. Alright, that's sitting in the fuel. Poop. I don't have any fuel up here. Start. I don't feel like walking down to the other area and getting. Well, because I haven't taken it apart enough today, I can tell you what I'm suffering is a little bit of hydraulic lockup. Probably, since it was laying outside, all the fuel probably ran into the cylinder. So, yeah, when you can't even hardly pull on the cord, there's no sense in even trying it. Come on, camera. There you go. So we got to pull the spark plug out. And while that's drying itself out, I will go and get some fuel. Odd, isn't it? I can't pull it because there's fuel in the cylinder. But yet on the other hand, I don't have any fuel. All right, let me take this guy off as much as I fought him to get him on. Oh yeah. Oh geez. Oh my. Oh my. This is terrible. Well, let me get a little bit of brake cleaner. All right, we'll let this guy air out for a little bit. I don't know if you saw how much oil came out of there. Oh, that's the spark. I don't know if you can see it or not. Right in there. Nice good spark too. Okay. All right, I'm gonna go back down on the ground again. I'm not gonna move the whole camera again. Let's see what happens. Yeah, I'm about killing myself on this. was interesting. Yep, it's filled up again. Let me see if I can get in there and take the rest of the baffle plates from the muffler off. Oh, they sure weren't that tight, I'll tell you that. There we go. Put a little bit of gas down in the cylinder. Damn it. I knew that was going to happen. Now we have a hazmat incident going on here. Well, we know it'll start. That off, that off. All right, so we can start to put things back on. And put the muffler back on. What can I say? Ugh, it lives. Gee willikers, all right. Here goes that. Next comes chain bore and chain. On the right way. It's awful smoky in here. I don't know how much you can see. Let me open the door again. Maybe there's a big puddle of oil on the floor too from the exhaust. Okay. All right. Place the chain onto the bar. Make sure that it comes all the way back around. Looks like we got that on. Alrighty. Pull this up here like that. Pull the bar all the way out. Put some screws in here, or nuts in here rather. Nuts. Throw that one there. That one there. There. All right, now let's just tighten that down a bit. Chain's pretty tight. I never really crank with those because you're always going to be tightening and loosening when you're adjusting the chain. All right, there we go. Chain moves nice and good. Make sure the brake works. Brake works good. Make sure the chain's adjusted the right way so it cuts when it pulls toward me. Yep, that looks good. I don't think this chain will go on the other way anyhow. Put the air cleaner back on. Tighten that up. Some chain lube in there. It looks like there is. What do you see in there though? There's some in there. So I don't have a lot of gas here, so that'll be fine. I'll give it a test run on a piece of wood maybe, if I can find one. Huh. Alrighty. If we start, let's see what we're looking at. Position is better. Alright. Figure out that side maybe it wouldn't make the smoke. can adjust the chain, and I'm not expecting a whole lot out of it until I get this pretty much cleaned out. So I get it pretty much cleaned out. Oh, there we go. Oh my, I'm zoomed in there. I didn't want that. Anyhow, so the chainsaw's running, and I'm really happy that it's running again. I've had it for a long time. It used to run great until we had the coil issues. Once I run some more gas through it and get the correct mixture in the tank, then I'll tune it and adjust it, but it seems to cut. See, the chain definitely needs adjusted again, so let me look into that. And that's where we're at. So, hey, thanks for riding along with me while I got my McCat running again. Take care.